Hi everyone, it's Don from Crux Terminatus with an Alpha Legion Leviathan Dreadnought, and this one's painted with some Hydra scales, so hopefully you'll find that enjoyable. The model's base coated in black. I left it in 3 separate parts for ease of painting really, and the weapons are obviously separate as well. And this is done using the pre-shading method that was originally shown to me by Roland Underwood, who is a master painter of all things as well, so if you check him out on Instagram. So basically you're going over the black with white anywhere where there's going to be a lighter colour. So in this case it's the knee pad that's going on there at the moment, because it's bent slightly up so it'll catch more of the sun or whatever light source that you're going for. And this is the only time in the hobby that fat fingers are a bonus. My fat fingers allow me to paint round this amazing curve on the Leviathan without the need to mask it, because all I do is just jam my thumb in there and move it round and do the next one. And although you'll see later on I do use some masking tape, pretty soon I get bored of that and just do it with my fingers. I mask with my fingers all the time. It's just so much easier than the faff that comes with masking tape. So once that's done, you'll see that it's kind of lighter at the breaking point, and then it goes darker towards the back, and that's because we've got 2 more colours that we need to stick on here. And that's me just showing you the same process for the shoulder joints as well on both sides. So this is what the model looks like when it's pre-shaded in this way, and this is pretty much it finished for the shading part anyway. And what we're going to do now is we're going to use, I want to tell you that people always ask me what consistency I use. The truth is no one's ever asked me, I'm not famous enough, but this is how I sort of work out the consistency. It was a couple of drops of thinner, and then 1 small scoop, if I can get it out, that is 1 small scoop of the base colour for the scales, and that is Cabalite green. So I just get something on the top. You'll see it's not very big, but I mix and I mix and I mix and I mix, and it's just standard airbrush thinner or airbrush medium. And you know, people say, oh, it's this consistency of skimmed milk. I've never actually stuck skimmed milk in my airbrush, but you know, whatever, it looks like that. It's quite fluid. Okay, so doing this is really hard, because you have to try and get a stronger green at the sort of interference point between black and white, and then a sort of softer green as it goes up towards the top of the model there. But this is what it looks like when it's pretty much done. So you can still see some white in the background. I'm just going to cover that up just now, just a little bit, to make the whole thing complete. You'll see it's still quite wet, so I was using a really thin paint this time, because it's quite rare for me. Oops, a little mistake there, which is not rare for me. That's an everyday thing for me. You'll see that I put the rocket missile launcher thing highlighted different from the panels, and that was just to give it some stark contrast. And this is the trick. So Crux Terminatus minis, or me and Roddy, or Roddy and I should I say, we want to do this kind of stuff, produce this stuff and supply it to you guys, but you know, there's 101 different companies doing it out there, so we might just not bother. But we got these printed up by a friend of mine, and I asked for sort of dragon scales, so we designed that, and you'll see that this is the main colour of it, and it's Sotek green, which I think is blue, but you know, whatever. And it goes over the Cabalite green, and it leaves the pattern of the scales. So let's have a look. That's what it looks like. And to be honest, that blue colour, the Sotek green against the black, is something I'm going to look at later on, because I didn't really realise it was going to look that cool. I did some down the front of the chest armour, but none on the legs. And this is me just basically painting all the internal sort of hydraulic-y parts for the legs to move, and it was just a silver. It wasn't mithril silver, I think it's the old chainmail silver, if you've got that kicking about. And once that's dry, it's just a black null oil wash over the top, and it looks fine, because no one's really going to be paying that much attention to the back of this detail. All the focus is on the front and the chest. So once that's done and it's dry, we can move on to the more fun parts. And you'll see that this is just the sort of I still don't know if they're actually like shield generators or lights. You know, if someone can let me know in the comments, that'd be grand. It's the same silver. I'm just basically picking out, trying to break up the sort of sea of the two different colours of green there, or I'm sure one of them's blue, but don't tell Games Workshop I told you that. This is quite interesting. Again, this is like I wanted to make it a sort of like fiery sun type plasma weapon, or a flux bombard, whatever they call it. So I painted it up just bolt gun metal and a coppery bronze colour. Then I painted it white and then used fluorescent orange. And I bought this years ago, like proper 10 years ago, thinking I could use it for something cool. It didn't work out, but it's been sat in my paint box ever since. But now is the time to use it. So it actually creates a really, really cool colour on top of white. So I give that a good going over with the fluorescent orange. And I'm pretty keen to get some sort of OSL, not much, but just enough to show you that it's glowing. And I think it looks really, really... So that's it all done, and what I'm going to do might surprise you. I'm going to go back in with white because I want to give it a yellowy tinge. If I just put the yellow over this, it wouldn't work. I think the orange would just swallow it. So what I'm going to try and do is a thinner band around the centre of this weapon, and I'm going to come back in just a second, and I'm going to show you what I do with the glaze. Roddy and I had a big question session. We were scratching our heads. Is it okay to use a glaze through a paintbrush? Will anyone decry us or me? Because it was me that was doing it. He was just giving me moral support. And the truth is, yes, you can stick glaze through an airbrush. No problem at all. It works just as you hope it's going to work. And obviously the sort of barrel end of the weapon, I wanted to pick out the sort of little cores just to make them hotter than the orange. So, and obviously the bit in the middle as well. This is about knowing your airbrush and knowing exactly where that paint's going to go. There's no shortcut to this. You just have to practice. And as you can see, there's lots of little white spots on my hand and on bits of paper and stuff. So, you know, I still always test before I go and do it. So this is a wobbly camera, sorry about that. This is the Lamenter's yellow glaze. And all I'm going to do is just stick that in the airbrush, and I'm going to cover the white paint that I was talking about just a minute ago. So it's actually a really simple effect, but it does look like it's really hot. So there you go, that's it going on now. So I just follow that all the way around the barrel. I go over the bits at the end, the sort of power pack or whatever it is that powers this, and just to give them sort of like a spot highlight of the yellow colour. And obviously I'm going to do the barrel parts again as well. Glazes, go easy on them because I did find that they tended to pull very, very quickly. It's obviously a very thin paint, so be careful when you're doing this. And that's it. So the model's finished. I did some chipping and some weathering, but nothing you haven't seen before 100 times. I love the base. I think it's a good contrast to the model because obviously your eye wants to be on the model all the time. I feel sorry for the quad star cannon, whatever it's that's an Eldar weapon, whatever that cannon's called. It's quite boring in comparison to the mobile sun launcher or whatever it's called, just coming around just now. I'm going to put the camera up in just a bit. I need to invest in a multi-pose tripod or something, but just in case you can't see the scales at the top, they're quite subtle, but the Alpha Legion is nothing if not subtle. So you'll see here, I'll move the camera up and you can actually see what the model looks like in real life. You can actually see the sort of Hydra scales in that as well, and the Volkite were just done a sort of red colour just to make them stand out, because otherwise they got swallowed by the rest of the model. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I know it's been a bit of a longer video, this one, 10 minutes, so I appreciate you sticking by us. We are just about to embark on painting an entire army, so that's going to be loads of updates, one every couple of days, possibly every week, but we're going to try and smash through a Grey Knights army and we're going to do a base for it as well, a big diorama base. So keep tuned, and speak to you soon. Cheers, bye bye.